Just a quick comment about some of the reactions that I've been getting from a few of my recent videos where I've been rather critical of the left, shall we say, in the emotional reactions, as I have talked about, of people who align more with the left, uh, jumping out and saying, well, yeah, that may be true, but what about the right? And what about Trump? And you're proving my point about the emotional retardation of society. When did I say anything about Trump? When did I talk about the right, except mentioning them maybe in passing during a few conversations? I'm talking about the left. And to talk about the left in a critical way does not mean that I agree with the right. Does not mean that I'm part of the right. But this is how people in our modern society react to things. They are so emotionally driven, controlled by their erratic, violent emotions, that as soon as they hear a trigger, they immediately jump to the extreme. Well, if you're attacking the left, then you must be supporting Trump and the right. Not necessarily. I didn't say anything about that. I don't align myself with anything politically. I'm rather apolitical, actually. I'm a Reformed Christian, and I've spent my entire adult life training in esoteric Taoist martial arts, energy practices, herbalism, alchemy, hermeticism. So I'm much more of a spiritual teacher and practitioner. Politics really doesn't interest me, other than the fact that it is very telling of the state that people are in, which I do find interesting. The reason that I speak out against the left and seldom mention the right is not to be taken as condoning everything the right does, but rather that what we see from the left in our current days is a far more dangerous threat than anything that's happening on the right. Now, this is not merely about policies. This is not merely about trade deals. This is not merely about what Republicans do for society versus what Democrats do for society in the political sphere. Both sides have their pros and cons in this regard. Both sides have their ups and downs. But the problem that I'm addressing when I criticize the left, rather than being about their political ideologies or their actions in governance, I'm talking about the underlying foundational threat that has come from their denial of basic reality, their denial and outright war against objective reality, objective truth, and the ability to know anything. This idea that stems from the traditional leftist influences of atheism, postmodernism, that espouse these ideas that nothing means anything, nothing has any inherent meaning, nothing has any inherent value or beauty, nothing inherently is, but it's all subjective to your own experience, and whatever you feel like it is, well, that's how it is for you, and everybody else had better play along. That is the problem, because the further we get into this agnosticism of reality itself, the closer we get to losing our ability to even think about or know anything. And this is the problem that is almost purely on the left. If you disagree with someone on the right, you can still sit down with them and have a conversation about it. And more often than not, they will have a nice conversation with you, and you can discuss and hash out your ideas. You can logically work through your ideas and debate. On the left, if you disagree with them, they don't debate you because they're not intelligent enough to do so. They're driven by emotions and their own nonsensical fantasies, to the extent that disagreeing with them is equivalent in their minds to being out to destroy them, to being an existential threat to them, and so they feel the need to violently emotionally react and attack and demean and cancel in any way they have to get rid of you for opposing their ideas. This is the problem. I don't care about right or left politically. I care about stupidity versus common sense and understanding that there is an objective reality and objective truth. We live in a logical, mathematical universe that has law and order. And even there, in that statement, the left, we hear from them that math is racist, that getting to work on time is racist. Everything in the world is oppressive to someone, and on it goes. And it's nonsense. It is sheer stupidity and emotional and mental retardation. That is the problem. And that's a far greater problem than any political policy from either side. Because if we lose the ability to think and function in a rational, logical, mathematical world, we are doomed. That is why I criticize the left. I really couldn't care less about the politics of it.